everyone, and welcome back to the Walking Dead reviews. Today we're talking about Hostilities and Calamities.
Episode 11.
Episode 11, a.k.a. Revenge of the Nerd. This is Tim Frisch, this is Francis Maxwell, and I'm Kim Horcher. I'm back.
Yay!
Yay!
Applause from the
brought
keyboard.
that bitch back? Get her out of here!
She doesn't even like this
Who
show.
said that?
So in this episode, did it feel kind of like a filler to you?
I disagree. I think it was an excellent bottle
No, I
episode.
liked it.
Okay, good.
I
We're on the
loved
same
the
page.
Terra filler episode too, which nobody liked.
Yeah, nobody did like that.
I liked it.
But I thought this one
Oceanside was cool.
well paced.
Filler with
it
a
had
point.
a lot of good character development. It had a lot of good plot development.
Great acting.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, from
Eugene.
both Eugene and Dwight, I
Dwight,
think.
yeah.
Negan's still an enjoyable character, but still very much a one-note guy.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
will say that scene with him and Eugene at the end was very tense,
Yeah.
which was something that was welcomed, because usually it's been, like you said, one note, but it wasn't clear whether he knew what we knew or what Eugene knew, and if he's going to come bust him in the head, or is this protocol? I wonder how screwed Eugene is going to be later, because he pulled his horse and pony trick about lying about his importance and his level of education in order to get ahead. Now there's no other doctor, so malpractice is incoming.
Yeah, I think that's part of the draw for Negan is that, yeah, he might tell you that you don't need to be afraid and that you're part of them, but as Dwight's proven, that doesn't mean shit. If you get on the other side of Negan, then he's going to be just as quick to burn you as he will anyone else. So it doesn't necessarily mean anything, but easily the biggest draw of this episode was Eugene's character development, because we know that he's had the tendency to be a coward-like figure. He has simply succumbed to, once again, but is he putting this on as a facade, and is he so kind of thinking of another plan on the outside, has the thought of Abraham and Rosita, the fact that they constantly questioned his allegiance to them, is he pulling like some wool over Negan's eyes?
You
I don't
and
know.
I read that differently,
You did?
because I thought it was clear that, or at least to me, that he is double-crossing Negan and he's playing a long game. Did you read differently?
I think it's consistent that Eugene always is quick on his feet, knows what to say in order to survive. He's very good at crafting these little lies, getting people to underestimate him, making himself essential in any situation. He did that with Abraham, he did that with Rick. So we're seeing him play this game with Negan now. Whether or not he is actually going to feel at least a little bit welcome amongst the Saviors. I mean, he says he's Negan, he says it very quickly. It's the exact opposite situation that we saw with Daryl and the Saviors, trying to get him indoctrinated into
He
their
and
group.
Daryl have different strengths.
Yeah,
Whereas
very.
Daryl is strong and wily and is a killer, Eugene doesn't have that. He's survived only on his wits, even though it's misrepresented. This has gotten him this far. There's no way he can turn on Negan this point and expect to survive, so he's going to have to play that game with him.
He,
And
at the very least, sees an opportunity here. with
Yeah,
the
of
Saviors.
course.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's to be among them for a while and survive on his own, or get himself into a position to inevitably betray them, we don't know yet.
But I don't think that Eugene has ever really survived on his own. His wit has gotten him into good graces with people, and he's relied on other people. So one of the most powerful lines was when he said, "I've always been Negan. I just needed someone to show me." And I was like, that makes so much sense. And rather than judge Eugene, if he is trying to align himself with Negan and keeping his good graces, is that really a cowardly thing to do in this world? Yeah, for us, watching on the outside and loving Rick and everyone, it is cowardly. But when he's in that environment, that's his safest route. That's his only way he can try and survive, because we know that he can't cut it on his own. He's constantly relied on other people. He has the ability to be a great team player. But in this environment where it's cutthroat, quite literally, this is the only thing that he can do to stay alive at this point. And whether it comes back to be something to assist Rick and them, we're going to find out. But I love the idea of him playing both sides, or whether if he moves towards Negan's group and he finds himself more in line with them, I'm perfectly fine with that storyline also. I think it still plays into what Eugene has went through, this whole process of him. This kind of provides a great end to it. What way does he go? Does he finally succumb to the fact that he is a coward and is only going to go to an alpha male and simply just play alongside it? Or is he going to abandon all of that fear that he's had the whole time and just kind of go on his own?
We've seen him move into, I guess, stage 2, which is he did become a braver person, and he did make a big speech about it. The reason why I believe he's acting as a double agent is he would be remiss to revert back to his his stage 1 self, which is, that this is going backwards on character growth, and it doesn't make sense to me that he would do that. But he did say that one line when the women called him a coward. He's like, yeah, I am a coward. That's true. You are accurate in this. And it does leave that part open. It's tantalizing. It's very tempting for him to cling on to whoever is the most likely to ensure his survival, which is what he has done. I don't know. I mean, you can call it cowardice. We would probably call it like a lack of honor. But it is consistent with at least who he was at one point, to want to cling on to the highest chance of survival no matter what.
And pissing off Negan gets you killed. He just saw that. So it's in his best interest to fall in line and be a little cowardly and not go through with the plan to assassinate Negan.
There will be a time, though, where he will be forced to make bullets or bombs or something.
Yes, very much so.
I don't know how he'll escape that.
I know you said that Negan is still kind of one note, which I agree, but he's still finding ways to surprise me with how terrifying he can be in that role. Like, it's just his acting, of course, the fact that he's able to just switch from one dimension to the other so swiftly. But I didn't see him launching the Doctor into the furnace. Like,
that was surprising.
That was another scene where, once again, this guy's ruthlessness is portrayed, and why he's still easily the main draw for me in this show.
Yeah, except the thing is, I also see him be consistently easily manipulated. Dwight knows exactly what to say to fool Negan. Eugene knows exactly what to say to fool Negan. It's like, if you say something that's like super badass or super complimentary, like Negan's down, he's into it.
You're right. You're 100% right.
He's gonna throw his only doctor into the furnace because Dwight came up with this thin excuse.
He should have checked on Dwight.
Yeah.
He just accepted it verbatim.
But is he not doing that to showcase that no one is above the law?
Sure.
You would not expect to throw a doctor in because, we've got another doctor now. I don't believe that Negan buys it as quick as he thinks he buys it. I think we're underestimating this guy here. I think that we've known he's ruthless, and his ability to reign superior is going to outweigh everything. Regardless if you've got a rocket scientist there and they're ready to take you to a different planet away from all this, he's gonna throw him into the furnace because he wants to be the man in charge at all times.
The liquid metal on the chain link fence is the dumbest thing.
He got it from season 1 of Game of Thrones.
It won't work at all. It would be just as easy as using ropes and work just as well. But it's badass, and he knows Negan likes badass shit.
Yeah,
so.
you could weld just the head, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't see how this results in any of
could
the
be a clip
engineers
from Nerd Alert,
not getting bitten.
I
while
think
they're
we'd also be remiss not talking about Dwight's character development in this episode, because I thought he fucking killed it. Him going after Sherry with the pretzels and the beer, learning his backstory about his bad memory is fucking heart-wrenching, in my opinion. And then him needing to do what needs to be done to get suspicion off of him so that he can continue to survive with the Saviors by throwing the Doctor under the bus is crazy and ruthless and interesting.
Question. Is there good in him?
Yeah, you know what? There is sentiment in him, but I don't think he's a redeemable character. At least not the way that the writers are presenting him right now.
Yeah, because he's showing that he can be redeemed, but then also showing that his willingness to remain part of this group and not to be questioned is going to outweigh that, because he just literally allows for an innocent man to die at the hands so that he can preserve his innocence. But his innocence was to allow for his loved one to escape from the grasps of this environment. So there's two sides to it.
He's got one soft spot, and she's gone.
Yeah,
now.
she's gone.
So I don't see redemption for
Isn't
Dwight.
he essentially protecting her by saying, "Oh, I killed her"?
Yeah,
he's definitely protecting
And then
her.
that's going to come back for sure, judging on how
she's
Negan
coming back.
accepted it. Like, he knows. Dwight knows what the repercussions would be.
If we find her, if you run into her. So
But
I'm sure she
was the angel on his shoulder, and she's gone now. So I don't see redemption for Dwight.
Well, I don't think that we'll see redemption if it puts her at risk. I think he's always going to look to protect her. I don't think because
I think she's
gone.
I think
he
said
she's
goodbye to her.
Well, he might have said goodbye to her, but I know because
gotta
she was on The Talking Dead at one point, and I think that they hinted that she's going to be more of an important character.
She's like
I don't think we had a big enough send off for her not to come back. So I think what's going to happen is she's going to come back. Negan's going to see her, and it's going to pose that interesting dynamic again as to what Dwight wants to do. Is it simply to preserve the woman that he's allowed to be used in this environment, or is he going to go forward and just risk it all?
I
Yeah.
see her as like a living Chekhov's gun.
Yeah, she is. Very much so.
The way I read it was at the end when Eugene and Dwight were standing together, and Eugene says something to the extent of, "Oh, we're the same. We're the same."
Yeah.
That made me feel like those two might team up later to be duplicitous.
I
in the
always seen
face of
Dwight in
Negan's
that role.
I agree with you because Eugene said both of their names, and they're not really supposed to have names. They're supposed to have numbers, and they're supposed to be Negan.
Yes.
But Eugene was like, I know you, you're Dwight. Don't forget that you're Dwight. I'm Eugene. I have a name. We're not Negan, but we're Negan. Wink.
Yeah.
Also, we're the same. We're going to do something. I don't know what we're going to pull, but it'll be later. Maybe later on next week? No. In the next week preview, it looks like Michonne,
And Rick,
Rick,
Go
lot
to
of
the carnival.
walkers. Have a nice
Looks
date
fun.
at the carnival.
that'll
Maybe.
be fun.
And then I guess we'll see what's going on with them next episode. And eventually maybe we'll see some payoff with Dwight, Eugene, etc. Who knows?
Maybe.
And the kingdom. All right, stick around next week when we review the episode 12. I don't know the title. Bye.